Shalom, shalom. First off, I would like to say, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakwak Wadash. The water Yahweh for giving us Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS, who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yashai in them. Double honors to the Connecticut elders of GMS, our big brothers. Greetings and salutations to the brothers in this country and all over the world who are prophesying in the true name of what you people stupidly and ignorantly call God and see. The true name is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the King in the universe, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody with descendants from those people on their father's side. Shalom to those who are scattered abroad. Shalom to the Akim and Akwath. Khan. So, what you see before you is that basically I have a footage on looping of a nuclear explosion compilation, and what I'm going to read is Isaiah the 31st chapter, like it's prophesied in the scriptures. You know, basically many scriptures, like the Bible shows, prophesies the destruction of what you people called America, which is really called Homeland Security, or none other, like the Bible mentions, the mother of harlots, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, you know, with seven heads and 10 horns, the EU, NATO, European Union, the dragon, the beast, that all represents basically the nation of Edom. You know, and the power of that beast is America. You know, Babylon the Great, which again, Babylon in the Hebrew means Babel, which means confusion. All right, and again, talking about America, man. You know, again, when you're giving little children before they turn 14 or hit the puberty, hormone, you know, what do you call puberty blockers and hormone pills, whatever have you, changing their whole makeup before they hit puberty, you know, that's confusion. Taking children to who are not even thinking about, you know, sex and all these kind of things when you hit puberty, you know, 5, 6, 7 years old, and taking these kids to as a school trip to a gay bar. All right, this is the country that you live in, and so on and so forth. Splicing genes, splicing foods to think that's, you know, that's actually, you know, a better source of nutrition. You would have to be confused to believe in these things. So Isaiah 34 just goes into destruction of America, which I'm gonna read. Okay. And like, again, a lot of stuff going on in the news, which basically has been proven to be a joke. You know, from what's going on with this thing, with the whole verdict and the aftermath afterwards. You know, the news has been proven to be nothing more than a sideshow, a circus, and a diversion. You know, because again, there's greater things going on as far as the economies and world powers, world leaders are doing behind the scenes. And, you know, everything you see in the news is basically used to distract you and something new to argue about every day. You know, and also to control you. Because at the end of the day, the solution of the news, there's always people to blame, and that's always, seems like it's always our people. You know, when the people, you know, the things that was going on bad around the world is really being orchestrated by a certain group of people, all right? And those group of people are the nation of Edom, all right? Which is descended from the nation of Esau, you damn devils, man, the so-called white man, all right? Which international bankers, starting with the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, DuPerrys, the richest families of the world, there are those people, the nation of Edom. You know, that manifest all this evil that we see today. You know, even including what you see in the news. And this is why, at the end of the day, this place is going to be destroyed, man. All the other topics don't matter, except the topic of destruction of America and our Lord Yahweh Shai coming back to save the elect. Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1, it reads, "Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken. All right, the nations, like it says in Joel, the 3rd chapter, represents all the other nations. Right? What is the Lord saying for you to heal for and hearken? Prepare for war, like it says Joel the 3rd chapter. Or the valley of decision, Yahweh Shaphat, which means the valley of decision, or the land of judgment, which represents the Middle East. Why? Because the Lord is going to gather all nations for the last war, the World War III, which 3, by the way, means understanding. So that's what it means by the other nations. So come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, right, and all that is therein, right? All the nations throughout the world, all the nations throughout the world, and their military might and leaders, and all the things that have come forth of it, right? For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Indignation means simply what? Indignation of the Lord, which goes by the word ignite. Just like you have a ignition to your car, you know, ignition has to be, so for something to ignite, it has to be provoked and agitated. So the indignation of the Lord has been provoked and agitated by wickedness, by evil. Okay, which is righteous indignation. All right. So the result of the Lord being provoked by wickedness, all done really by none other by the wicked himself, the so-called white man, which is the current state of the world is under the reason why this current state of the world is the way it is now, because again, under the nation of Edom and what they're doing, proving who they are by the way they carry out the world. Scriptures say, what, Proverbs 29:1 and 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. All right. Just as the leader are, just so are the people. That's another scripture in Apocrypha. So the people out here, what do you see out here? People gunning each other down, stealing each other's cars at the gas station, you know, shooting shootouts in the middle of midday, kidnappings, domestic violence, robberies, people mourning. Why? Because your leaders are corrupt. You are corrupt. You know, people are going to, you know, have no regard for each other. Why? Because your leaders have no regard for each other. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also should be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. And again it says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And that right there, verse 4, is literally talking about a nuclear missile. All right, what in the aftermath of what happens when it touches down? You know, I have this video looping here, and what you see in basically is results from nuclear blast. See, that's the nuclear wind from the blast. You see here before you, and there you go. See, now that's a nuclear bomb going off, and see, and when it forms like a mushroom. Boom, there you go, right there. You see that? I can put on pause. I'll read verse 4 again. And it shall, and all the hosts of heaven. Host is when basically it's something that holds something together. And all the hosts of heaven. All right, Salat. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. Look at the heavens. All right, dissolve means something that decays and wastes away, literally disintegrates. All right, there's nuclear power. All right, disintegrates if you do your research on that. You look at the temperature of what a nuclear power or detonation could accumulate, man. They say it's more than hotter than the surface of the sun. All right, nuclear power can melt, you know, the eyes out your eye sockets, your tongue out your mouth. It can melt literally all elements, just like the scriptures say. So when something dissolves, it's something that's or something that's isolated, or something. Another nickname for this nuclear missile is called a waster. Why? Because it would totally waste everything away. Okay, so the nuclear power is going to be the only thing on Earth that can dissolve things, literally, down to nothing, right? And it says, "And all the hosts of heaven," play it, "and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." See, just like right there, put on pause, "shall be rolled together as a scroll." You see, now when the prophets saw this, they saw these actual images we're seeing now, and they can describe it the best way they can with the things around them, their generation at the time. You know, so when they describe this, it'll look like a scroll was unwrapped, or like a mushroom cloud, so to speak. No different from if you were in this time trying to break down a vision you saw 2,000 years from now or longer. You describe it, you know, with the things that you around you in this time. So again, this nuclear explosion looks like a what? A scroll unrolling, you know, unrolling the scroll. And I keep playing, it says, "and all their hosts shall fall down." And obviously, right, this is in the sky. Everything that's going to be in the sky, let's say if there were planes right now in this image, they would all fall down. And that's actually what's going to happen. All right, in the midst of World War III, there'll be nuclear blast fire happening all around the world, especially upon America, Babylon, and military planes in the air, anything that's in the air is going to be dissolved. It's going to fall. Right? Because why? It's prophesied the Lord is going to come in the midst of World War III, in the midst of when the nuclear weapons or intercontinental ballistic missiles are shot over from other countries. Right? It says, "and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be gathered in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." All right. And it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And that sword, again, represents that nuclear missile. You know, which again, when they saw it, it looked like a sword. Nuclear missiles look like a sword. Another name in the scriptures they call a nuclear missile is an arrow. Is an arrow, and the proof to that, you have a movie which Nicolas Cage played in, called Broken Arrow, which was talking about a nuclear missile. You know, so all these, you know, some of these similes you see in the scriptures, they use in real life. All right, which proves again that the nuclear destruction. Look at that. That looks like a mushroom cloud right there. Look at that footage. Okay, that the destruction of America by way of World War III and nuclear destruction is inevitable, man. Okay, and that's what this is why, because for the wickedness of America, wickedness of the 2/3, and death itself will cease. Destruction will cease. No more suffering for our people. And the destruction to America overall. This is the judgment we're looking at. A glimpse of it. It says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." And Idumea represents the nation of Edom. Edom, you would say Idumea in the Greek. Idumea again represents the nation of Edom in the Hebrew, which is Adawam, which means red man, which represents you so-called white people. Your blood force shows through your skin. All right, you are really the red people of the earth. Translucent, no skin pigmentation. Right? No melanin. So the Idumea represents Edom, which is also represents America, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. And you are a curse, because again, what's the curse? Just like your forefather Cain, that ultimate curse was that mark in the book of Genesis, which goes back to Wawath, which is what? A distinguishing appearance. What was that distinguishing appearance? That mark the Lord put upon you, which was no melanin, having no melanin, no color, to be translucent, see-through, and to be labeled the nation of Edom, which is prophesied to be slaves, man, in the kingdom of heaven. And which is prophesied to be the wicked. They were prophesied to have the fatness of the earth. You know, they were prophesied that their blessing would be the sword, which the ultimate sword, which represents weaponry. And the ultimate weapon is all the which weapons are set to kill you, right? The ultimate killing instrument is the nuclear fire. There's nothing more greater than that on planet Earth that can kill. And they already used it to establish their power in World War II. Right? So they already manifested their ways as the weapon. Look at what America is supposed to mostly spends their money or their GDP on. Military might, right? Which is all weaponry. Look at Esau's favorite pastime is building guns. This man's the devil, he's the weapon. He's the dagger that killed our brother Abel. And again, the ultimate weapon is the nuclear fire we're looking at. See, look at the results here. And again, the Lord, the so-called white people, you're the nation of the Most High's curse. You're a cursed nation, starting with your skin pigmentation. It said, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and the blood of goats, with fat of the kidneys of rams, right? Which represents what? Sacrifices. Because when you sacrificed unto the Lord for your sins, you would use certain animals according to what sin you did. You know, and basically what the Lord is saying is that this place is, if you listen to those animals, that this place is going to, ultimately is what the Lord is saying, this place is, it's going to be sacrificed. It's an altar. Because what will you do in an altar? You would, look at that. You can tell me that don't look like a scroll, what just passed. Now, what do you do in an altar? You burn it. You put animals on there and you burn it with fire. So basically, the Lord's saying, all you animals here in America, you spirits here, will be burned by fire. You will be an ultimate sacrifice. America is actually an altar. You know, it's an altar, like the Apostle always breaks down, to the Most High. And it will be lit, man. Okay, so it says, fat of the kidneys of rams for the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, which Bozrah was old Edomite city. Hence Edomite red people, the red nation, you so-called white people. It was a Bozrah as an Edomite city, right? Which Bozrah again represents America, right? And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Again, see, you can't get around with it, man. That's why these Edomites try to come up with specials on TV to try to say, oh, the Edomites are done away with. They don't live. They don't exist. Yeah, of course, the white man is going to say that, because if you're the nation of Edom, you don't want to be that person. You know? Oh, what happened then? Some nuclear. Let's get back to that nuclear footage. Hold up. You know? Nobody wants to be an Edomite. So of course he's going to put lies out there that act like he don't exist. But this is how the Lord's going to come back to destroy Esau. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made with fatness. Right? For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense of the controversy of Zion, which is the main point